Hey everybody, welcome back. Now we're going to go through the different cloud deployment models, and this is going to be more or less a straightforward lesson and topic. But this doesn't make it any less important, and there will be almost certainly questions around this. If you go to the exam, so. Um, let's first go through this, but before we do, first of all, let's um, say that apart from all these cloud deployment models that we're going to talk about, there's always the good old on-premises deployment where everything is sitting on premises in your data center or your server room and so on and so forth, and you're not benefiting in any way from um, the economies of scale and everything else that the cloud offers as benefits. Okay, so let's go through this real quick. Now, first you have the so-called public cloud, and the public cloud is basically what you're thinking about when you're thinking about cloud. Um, so here in this category are the public cloud offerings of the biggest players in this game. Okay, um, we're talking Amazon's AWS, we're talking Microsoft's Azure, we're talking Google's GCP, we're talking Oracle Cloud, and so on. But these are generally the biggest players in this game. So with the public cloud, you're basically um, using the cloud provider's infrastructure to be able to um, make use of IaaS resources like infrastructure as a service resources, like, for example, virtual servers and so on and so forth, and also to use platform as a service offerings. So this is, even this alone is a world of its own. So um, just remember that public cloud relates to these guys, AWS, Azure, GCP, and you really need to know at least one of them in more depth. And once you do, this will all make sense. Um, and the reason I'm saying that you need to know at least one is because the more you study the public cloud offerings, the more you will find that um, the services that are being offered are very close to one another. Okay, so um, everything that one of these companies is offering is very similar to what the other company is offering. Of course, they have different service names and so on and so forth, but this is this doesn't make the other statement any less true. Okay, so apart from the public cloud, there's also the private cloud, and you can almost say that the private cloud is like the exact opposite of what the public cloud is, because here we're talking about a cloud that's actually only being used. You only have one customer here, to put it this way, and this customer is your company, for example. This is why it's a private cloud. Um, just like we've talked about a lot of other things before when we have mentioned this, I'm going to mention it again here. There's no better or worse model. There are no good or bad models. It all depends on what your requirements are and how you are or how your infrastructure is built or how you're planning on building your infrastructure and your applications and your services and so on and so forth. Then you have the so-called hybrid cloud. And the hybrid cloud is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically the best of both worlds. Um, so again, this is a good implementation for an organization that's not for example, ready to go 100% public cloud yet. So hybrid cloud is a good option in this case. Okay, they have the so-called community cloud, and the community cloud is like, imagine a group of companies or even companies that belong to the same industry, and they could have their own cloud, which could only be used by the companies in this group. Okay, or in the list of companies that want to use it, and that have probably built in the first place. Okay, um, and then you have the so-called multi-cloud, and multi-cloud is basically using offerings from more than one public cloud provider, which nowadays it's not something exotic at all. It's basically the way to go for a lot of companies. The reasons could be different. One of the main reasons, of course, is the fact that you don't want to, you probably don't want to be stuck with only one public cloud provider, because at a certain point you might decide to migrate to another one. Another reason would be cost reduction. So if you're looking for um, the, um, the cheapest price of the services that you're using through your public cloud provider, then this could be a reason for using one over the other. Okay. Um, you might find people saying that multi-cloud is just um, is just another way of describing hybrid cloud, or that multi-cloud is within the definition of hybrid cloud. I can't. I don't necessarily agree with this. I think they should be listed and studied as separate cloud deployment models. But I'm just mentioning this FYI. Okay. All right. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.